Hey, you want to see something really scary?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you.
What was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk here.
What's blood for, if not for shedding?
Welcome to Fright Night.
Welcome back to Jump Scare. I'm Betty B. Dudley.
And I'm Chad.
This week, we're covering Touch Me.
Brian invited us to his house for the weekend.
Didn't he, really hurt you?
My lady, you're such a prepossessing sight. What in the Shakespeare does that mean?
Once I get him going, I ain't ever...
He's so hot. I mean, the tracksuit thing's a little weird, but look at him.
Now, Craig, it is true what Joey says. I suppose I have the capability to be dangerous. Shall we have cross-species intercourse? I feel like these days it's impossible to deny the existence of aliens. I just never thought the way that I'd find out would be live-action hentai.
Hey. No sadness, no anxiety. I forgot how good it feels. Just pure, unadulterated peace. I've been searching for it for so long.
Aren't you, with Joey? Is this really happening?
Ay, I don't get in my feelings, I just get in my bag. Ay.
By coming here, you found yourself part of something bigger.
It's a full symbiotic world.
You don't want to stay.
Oh my God, no! What he's doing is horrible. We both need to leave, but you first.
I'm just trying to protect you.
Right.
Brian's mine.
You hate seeing me happy.
No war, no pollution. I am saving the planet.
I must devour Craig.
What the
Your anuses are open. Excellent.
This is the horniest episode we've ever done.
There's a lot of tentacles in this episode. But at the same time, there's not enough tentacles. It's a conundrum.
I actually agree with this.
Yeah. Now, this is written and directed by Addison Heimann. They've done a lot of short films, but I believe this is their first feature. And it's essentially two friends run into an alien who can touch them, and
he has a addictive, heroin-like touch.
Yeah, and it makes you feel better, takes away all your depression and problems, and it's also apparently an intense orgasmic experience if you get touched by the tentacles. And they get hooked on this.
Yeah, and then to add more to it, the alien happens to be a narcissist who may or may not be trying to take over the world.
Like Invasion of the Body Snatchers style. He's going to grow himself in trees and, make many copies of himself to go around the world. And...
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Well, I don't think you can really spoil too much about this movie. The tentacle sex is the drawing point. Anything else after that's just a bonus.
People are like, you know what? I'm into hentai. I'm good. This is great.
All I needed was lots of tentacles. But all right, now the stars.
Olivia Taylor Dudley. She's back. She is. I know her from The Magicians, and I loved her in that show. And I'm still sad that it is no longer on the air. And also, She Dies Tomorrow.
And then you've got Lou Taylor Pucci, who has been in Daredevil Born Again and American Horror Story. which I'm behind on Daredevil Born Again, so I will take their word for that one. And Jordan Gavaris, who is in Wish You Were Here and Hacks. Which I think I remember him from Hacks, but it's been a while since I've seen some of those.
I feel like he joined the cast probably like season 4, season 5. I'm not sure. We're only up to season 3, and I don't remember him per se, but I could totally see from him being in the movie that he would fit in perfectly in Hacks.
Yeah.
But yeah, to have your film described as psychosexual is fantastical. This is the kind of world that we're living in today, because I thought this was just going to be like a whole Lovecraftian thing, but the movie actually it deals with trauma, childhood traumas, how they stay with you and affect you, and really their decisions, the best friends, their decision to continue or to even begin, especially with
the guy.
Well, I was going to say especially with the girl, because she first meets him, the alien first.
Yeah, they start this off with the whole, like, she's at her therapist's, and the therapist says, tell me a story, but make it up. And she says, okay. And she tells this whole story about meeting the alien and the tentacles and all this. And
wait. Can you just skip over the main part of the story? For me, is the description of the alien, how he's wearing like a velour, like a velvet jumpsuit, and may or may look like some kind of like gangster or whatever. It just you're trying to envision, she's painting the picture for you, and you're like, oh, what she's saying has to be true, but it's so far-fetched that of course the therapist is going to be like, okay, but just like, I need to know from Addison, like, did they think, like, what was the thought process on, like, this is how this alien is going to be dressed and look like? Because what the fuck? Why?
Well, it reminded me kind of one of those, like, self-help guru guys that you would see, like a crazy, I can't think of his name, but the guy who ran the Heaven's Gate cult. He reminded me, because, like, that guy, you look at him and go, how the hell did anybody follow that crazy guy? He's got the bug eyes, and he was like, whoa, and yelling about aliens on the comet, and you're like, who?
What was he dressed like, though? That's the question.
I think he was just dressed normally. He didn't have anything special on.
Okay.
And maybe that was the thing. Like, you needed your special tracksuit outfit or whatever. Now, when they were all done, when they all killed themselves, they all put on black Nikes and wrapped themselves in a special robe and put a roll of quarters in their pocket, because apparently the toll for the comet was $10 for the quarters.
Because aliens are into the American currency.
Well, it probably costs like one, what do you call it from Star Trek? What did they call those? Something they were betting on in the one thing like that, like Blockma or something like that. Oh, quatrain, one quattro. We've got 10 rolls of quarters equals one quattro, and that's what the total was one quattro. They had to put that, so that's the only thing I can think that makes sense.
I would also ask Addison, was the look of the alien maybe had anything to do with Jared Leto? Because the long, like, mermaid-esque, like, long, like, wavy, curly-ish hair, like, he has, and, like, the fact that everyone's always saying, like, Jared Leto, like, has a cult, and how he's very attractive, and how he lures people with, obviously, his good looks. Like, was there anything there? Because I feel, now that I'm, like, thinking about it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I could see, like, Jared Leto, like, for sure. This is what I envision this alien to, like, exude sexuality wise, like, just very sexual. But the therapist, here's a story, and then the movie just begins from there. It just starts from there, obviously.
Yeah.
And she's really trying really hard to just live a life, and these characters are not where they need to be. The best friend, who she lives with, his parents are rich, and she's like living off of him, and she can't hold a job. She can't even like barely trying to like find a job. Very, very on edge, very angry person. And they're, doing drugs all the time. So they're not really in like the best place. I did not know that this movie, I mean, when there's like tentacles and like sex involved, right? Like I thought it was going to be, like I said, like a Lovecraftian, like just like horror comedy. I didn't think there was going to be like, oh, we're going to go deep into like descriptive stories of where our trauma began and their childhood like essay stories. That was a lot. But I understand how it provides obviously character development for those characters, and also how they get so addicted to the alien. And I feel like the alien, for the most part, from what we saw, probably goes after people that he knows is hurting or that needs that kind of relief. Like, I don't think he's going to be going up to like a happy person or a well-adjusted person and, try to get
their life happier.
Exactly. Because they're not going to get hooked on it, because they're good in their life. So, yeah, I did not expect the story to go that way. And the sexual scenes...
that was the problem. Like, I thought if you were going to do this, you got to go full on, hardcore, everybody's got to be naked, tentacles everywhere if you're going to do this. Not that I'm like dying to see that, but if you're going to do it, I think that's the way you got to do it. You got to make
the audience know you're not a ultimate freak. You don't want to see that.
I am, but in a different way. Like I said, if you're going to do it, I think they should have gone full on with it, just so that it would be like weird and uncomfortable, and you would be like, how do you enjoy this? It would make it a little weird for you, and you'd have to go a little extra mile to understand why they were into it,
I don't know. I disagree, because I need to be in your head and how much more you wanted to see. I mean, I guess maybe, I don't know. I felt uncomfortable, but also not even like the uncomfortable. It's like when I'm watching, obviously it's not something that I watch every day, right? This is not something that I'm not obviously looking at like anime like that. I'm not, in that kind of world. That's not my bag, right? As Austin Powers would say. But the tentacles going in and out of like the mouth, and like and it's very sweaty. I think someone described this movie as like sweaty, and I'm just like
add to the list of sweatiest movies that they were arguing about on Cheers.
Okay, yeah, I see that, because there's a lot of there are juices are flowing. And
by the way, on Cheers they settled the argument: the two sweatiest movies ever made were Cool Hand Luke and Alien.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, Alien for sure.
Yeah, they're like, everybody was sweating in that movie.
This was like, if a xenomorph was going to be having sex with like a human, which technically...
Oh, that's out there.
Isn't that what like the whole like Ripley like clone bullshit is about? Like,
yeah, and then the whole like metaphor of like the face hugger and everything.
Oh, yeah. Gross. Yeah, no, I'm just not about it.
Just don't Google it.
But the alien, not only does the alien have like a dope ass house, right? Like in the middle of nowhere, like as you were like in California or Nevada or whatever, right? Not only he has an assistant, so that's like very LA, like that's sort of like Hollywood, right? Okay.
Yeah, he's got his own assistant.
They're both wearing like velour like tracksuits, right?
And he's shirtless like 90% of the time.
Yes, he is. Not only that, but also he is not filming himself do this, but when I saw these scenes, I thought, oh, like TikTok influencer, like that. Yeah. Like, he's pulling a fucking, what's her name, like Addison Rae, like with the dances, right? They have these whole dance sequences where they're like, obviously sequenced, like they're very put together. And this is how he like calms himself. He recenters himself by doing these dance sequences. But so does the assistant. So there was time where there was like a choreographer that was going to be helping them like set this up for this movie. That was like something that was important to, you know, like, oh, we need to have this alien do this. That's very unique. There's a lot of unique like characteristics and like behaviors and just overall from each character. They're full characters. Yeah. Like you and also though, I guess what also adds it's not like a huge cast. There's not multi-locations. I think it's like 3 locations.
It's like the coffee shop, their house, and then the alien's house.
And then for like in the whole movie, we're gonna guess maybe like no more than like 10 minutes. The therapist. Yeah. Right. And this is one of those movies that begins and ends the same way, which I love. It's very bookmarked.
Yeah. Bookended.
Bookended. Thank you. But. Yeah, the dance sequences got me. I was like, okay, this is happening now. This is weird, but an alien would be fucking weird, right? Like, it's not going to be like normal. And also into everybody, right? Yeah. Like, there's no like, oh, whatever. The alien was very pro, like.
Oh, tentacles don't care.
Yeah, they're
tentacle monster don't care.
They're like, you got a hole? I'm into it.
Yeah.
So that was it.
Yeah, and then the assistant that's with him she's kind of jealously guarding him because she's into all the same things too. They imply that she's been with him for a lot longer, which makes the question like, how long has he been on Earth? How long has he been doing this? Is this his first stop here in LA? Because I feel like that'd be the best place for an alien.
And he's selling these trees. Like, that's where he makes his profit. He's selling these trees out because the trees are like supposedly going to like heal the Earth. You know, which obviously was not true. It was a trap, essentially. But you don't really get... The only negative thing I would say about the film is, besides the whole essay thing, which I'm not really comfortable with, but I get it, obviously. I know that it happens. When true life horrors come into the horror films, those movies I don't want to say problems with, but it's a lot for me. Like, I want to escape life. And I guess maybe that's why I'm more into the slashers, right? I mean, technically, yes, there are people out there killing other people.
But it's very unlikely that you're going to run into anybody...
A zombie, hockey masked.
Yeah, and run into anybody that's been like, well, I survived when I was at camp. This guy came in and killed 57 people. They had to set his ass on fire and tie him to the bottom of the lake with a rock to kill him.
Or I went to sleep and this guy was after me and he's trying to kill me.
He killed 14 of my friends.
Yeah.
This guy, like the fucking doctor from the hospital, had to chase this guy down and shoot him 6 times, and he still didn't die. You know, you're not going to run into anybody like that. Or with the, demons, you're like going to run into somebody that was like, from Beyond or Reanimator. You're not going to run into any of that with some kind of like crazy monster and all that. It's just, like you said, you want to go and have crazy horror movies that you're not going to run into in real life.
Yeah. But there are plenty of people out there that can handle this kind of thing. It doesn't, they're not, I'm just more like empathic and I'm very sensitive to certain things. So I enjoyed the film, obviously, from the crazy alien / like psychosexual portion of it.
I feel like this too was a little bit longer than it needed to be. I think if this had been like a few minutes shorter, it would have been an amazing like episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, I wanted more. And that's my other problem. I always want a little more, like, why? Like, what was the end goal for the alien? Like, it was just trying to eradicate all, like, humans. Like,
you're just going to eat everybody, then move on to the next planet? Or what were you going to do?
Exactly. Like, and then the alien was such a narcissist that...
Are all the aliens like that, or just him?
Well, yeah, but then the trees they were growing were a part of him, so like he was coming out over and over again, like he was like cloning himself in a way, right? Like they were all him.
Yeah.
So the level of like narcissism is like 100% for this alien, which I find to be very intriguing.
Which is kind of the opposite of like, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They're pod people coming down, and they seemingly have no ego.
Yeah.
They all just continue. Like, I love at the end of that, which we talked about this movie before. At the end of the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, they're literally just all going back to their jobs and still working. They're all just working their jobs like they were before. He's still going to his job at the health department. Everyone else is going, and like you see him like taking buses of kids in, going like, "Oh, why do we have to take a nap here?" and that. But like, so are they just doing that until every single person, or is it like 90% of the world already, and they're just like, "Yeah, we might as well just keep doing what we were doing."
Yeah, no, I think they're just trying to take over the entire planet, and then the goal is maybe they were just organisms that couldn't survive on their own planet, and they found a way to like survive on our planet, but it was to be a host, like to be like we were the parasites, or they were the parasite host thing.
You never know exactly too. Like, are you taking over with alien thoughts, or is it just the alien? Yeah, I was never clear on that Invasion of the Body Snatchers how that worked.
Well, there you go. So I guess when it's alien stuff,
alien
there's
plant
some
people.
Kind of there's gonna be some kind of like unclarity. Like it's not gonna be clear
when the alien plant people arrive. It's never crystal clear how it's gonna go. It's always like you're looking through the dirty leaf or something.
Well, I think this is a great start for Addison. Congrats to their first film, their first feature. And I'm looking forward to see what else is in that amazing, beautiful mind. Because this was very, very, very interesting take on this subject.
The alien invasion.
Alien invasion, exactly. I give it 2.5 knives.
Okay, I'll go along with that. 2.5 as well.
Wow.
It's fun. Like I said, I have a couple things with it. Like I thought it was a little too long, but I think first features tend to always be a little bit too long.
Yeah, because you want to get all your ideas in, right?
They want to put everything in, and it's hard to cut everything down. So I think as it goes along, they start trimming things down and going from there, So yeah, I'm anxious to see what comes next because it'll be fun. If it's another crazy alien thing, then that's going to be a whole trend, but let's hope they move on to something else. You don't want to be the alien guy your whole life.
That's true. But thank you so much for joining us at another episode of Jump Scare the Horror Podcast. Stay tuned to the horror.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.